every single morning when I get up, I always say the same thing. I am healthy, I am young, and I am an eternal source of power and energy. I've been saying this since I am 19. Processed food is a nightmare. Sugar is your real enemy. I'm not eating certain food. I'm not drinking soft drinks and all those things. I'm staying away from all of this. By doing that, I've changed my body. I've changed my mindset. It changed my whole life, honestly.
Founder and director of M-Intensive University, Graham and Houghton's technique educator, helping dancers from all over the world get the professional training that they always deserve. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Mr. Patrice, who's going to be talking to us about how dancers manage to age so gracefully throughout their journey. So welcome, Patrice, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current work?
Hello, Sakshi. Thank you so much for having me today. So, well, it's a wonderful topic and I really love it, because I do believe that dance, firstly, is really the best ally to have actually a kind of a healthy life, right? And stay young and stay healthy and stay happy. And I do believe that when you are happy in your mind, in your heart, your whole body will just reflect all of this. So my routine is based of dance, healthy sleeping, healthy food, lots of love, lots of joy. And there's still a few things I've been doing since the past 20 years, actually, to stay young. I'm now 41 now, and I've been in this industry since I've started dancing. I've signed my first contract. I was 18, 19 years old. And this is this one sentence I've heard from my first ballet master, Mr. Riba. He told me, right, that was in France. He told me, Patrice, right, you see a dance career, it is not about just coming quickly, right, and burning yourself. It is more about longevity. It is about doing the right things now that you're young to stay healthy and young for a long time. So this sentence that he told me when I believe I was maybe around 20 when he said that to me. 2021. This stays in my mind. It stayed in my mind that day, and I never forgot that. And since, I've been living this lifestyle based on this little sentence that made so much sense to me. That was so powerful, so actually, I would say, impactful in my life. This simple sentence shaped my whole way to see dance and to see how I could help myself being a dance teacher for as long as possible. That's the pillar of my lifestyle. It was all about dance, always making sure I do the right things to dance as long as possible.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, and we're so grateful to have you on the podcast today. This conversation is very close to me personally, because for the ones who don't know, Patrice is my personal teacher as well. I've been training at M-Intensive University under him, and he's just amazing. And listening to him saying that he's 41 is so unbelievable, is why I had to do this podcast with him, because he's clearly aging backwards. So, to begin with, like a lot of us say, and we've heard about it, that dancers are God's athletes, right? Because being a professional dancer is nothing less than being an athlete. It's almost like training like that, and sometimes even more. Like, for people abroad also who've been training professionally for ballet, from childhood, it's so much training. Like even more than school hours, they would dedicate their time, their energy, their body and mind to learning that form particularly, right? And what you said about what your teacher told you, it's about longevity, and it's great that the whole dance community is shifting the attention to it now, because we must have met so many teachers, dancers, say some years back, who we see retire at 30, just like athletes. So many athletes retire so early because at some sport, because they did not take care of their bodies maybe that well, or even the sports community in itself has this shelf life of a dancer or of an athlete, that this is still when you can do it according to the old mindset, because there was not so much care involved. It was just working towards a goal, achieving that stage, whatever you want to do, just that, and not so much focus on taking care of your body and your mind along the way. But it's great that that shift is happening today. Since you've been training professionally in so many years, you've been teaching, where did you begin with taking care of your body? And I see you now that you go to the gym as well, right? And many few dancers actually do strength training now that awareness is happening, because otherwise regular training in itself is so much. They're company dancers or something, there's so much training, choreography work, a lot of things happening, that even getting another hour of physical work is just another work. How have you been doing it? How long have you been strength training, and what are the things that have helped you age gracefully as a dancer and still be able to do what you love doing?
Thank you so much. I just love the questions, actually. So there's many things I do. Firstly, I sleep well. That's the core. I am trying to sleep well as many days in the week as possible. There's some nights, of course, I will have short nights sometimes, right? Like everyone. In a 7 days, right? Let's say right in 1 week, I will manage to sleep well at least 4 times, if not 5, if not every night. Right? This is really important, firstly. Then I drink lots of water. I actually do fasting, right? I fast. It's been maybe nearly 10 years now, right? When I get up, right, I will really have my breakfast first. I will get 2 nice glasses of water, right? Then I will go to the gym. That will be the first thing I do. I go to the gym for maybe just 45 minutes, 1 hour. Very short time. However, I train really hard. For 45 minutes, I will do some HIIT training, right? Weight, right? Very, very intense training, but very short, because I know that I have to dance now, right, the rest of the day. I've been dancing since I'm a child, but I've been dancing professionally since I'm 18, 19 years old, and I've been dancing every single day, maybe 5 days a week, 6 days sometimes a week, since the past 20 years. So I've been dancing a lot. So I do believe that dance is a very complete sport. I do believe that dance will actually make you work your strength, will keep your stamina very sharp, and will just boost your metabolism. So I do believe this is also one of the reasons why I look younger than my age. But it is also, I do have to admit that I do also have very good genes as well, right? Because my parents, both of them look younger, right? I'm actually French, but actually come originally from the island of Cabo Verde. It used to be Portuguese, but I was born and raised in France. So I do have very good genes as well. I do have to be honest, right? And I've seen also my parents when I was really young. I've always seen my parents looking after themselves, dancing, going to the gym, training. My mom always ate well. She was always have a good meal, always eating healthy, staying away from sugar, staying away from many things that make you age faster. Smoking, drinking, all those things. I am not saying that I've never tried all those things. I did try those. I did. But it was never part of my routine. I've tried a few things when I was a bit younger. I said I've tried those things. It was more actually for fun, right? Socially, but it was never something I wanted to be part of. Drinking, smoking, I've always stayed away from this. Always. It wasn't because for me being a dancer, you can't be partying and you can't be drinking, you can't be smoking every time. These things are not working in my world. You can't be using your tool the way we do it in dance, right? Especially in Horton and Graham technique, which is really intense, right? And ballet as well. All those things are really intense for the body. You must be as healthy as you can. Therefore, you stay away from certain substances. So these are things I've been doing for a long time. Always stayed away from those things. I've been training 4 times a week, right? At the gym, 4 times a week, 45 minutes every day. Then I dance every day. I dance maybe 5-6 hours a day. When I was a bit younger than I was in training, I was dancing 25 hours a week. Now that I teach dance full time, I dance a little bit less, but as I've included more weight training, I kind of still have the same balance. So gym, dance, sleeping well, staying away from bad things. This is my cocktail to stay healthy and just feeling great. May I ask you something, Sakshi? How do you feel when you don't sleep enough hours, right? Yes, for 3 days. How do you feel?
I feel like a zombie. I cannot function.
Absolutely, right? You feel like you can't function. Very nice, very, very, very nicely said. And this is just because of this that for me it just makes sense that you need to do those things just to help yourself feeling well. It is more than the way you look like, right? It is not about looking good. It is not about that. It is about feeling right. It is not about what you project outside. It is how you feel inside. If you feel good inside, you will look good. This is what I think. And you will look good the way you think it is good for you, right? Because we are all different. And I do believe that someone needs to feel good for themselves, right? It is not for everyone else. It is for yourself.
Exactly.
So yes, that's how I live.
That was beautifully explained. Thank you for sharing that. And to give us some more insight, since how long have you been weight training specifically? Like, was it ever since you were dancing professionally or was it recently?
Okay, it's been a long time as well. I've started weightlifting when I was 19 years old. Because when I started dancing professionally, I've noted that I needed more strength, right? To see to actually, lift other dancers and everything. I needed more strength. And also I wanted to look very sharp, right? And to look good, because I had to wear sometimes certain kind of outfits, right? For the shows, right? They were actually quite revealing outfits as well. So I had to look the best I could. That was the main reason why I went to the gym. And I also starting actually lifting weight because I've also researched that it was also good for men as well to actually live longer. And the stronger you are, the smarter you are as well, right? Because you also work out your brain. There's many benefits of actually hitting the gym. And I do also believe that being a professional dancer, just dancing is not enough. You need to do some weight training, you need to have some core training, right? You need to work out daily,
Right.
because dance is good, dance will make everything, but if you're stronger, you can lift your legs higher, you can do things better, and you also are stronger physically. It means that when you get injured, for example, right, when you have an injury, I did have just a few injuries in my career, to be honest. I had maybe 2 or 3 injuries. When I think of my career, which is more than 20 years, 2 or 3 injuries is quite fine, to be honest. And I do believe it's because I am strong physically. Every time I'm sick, right, because sometimes it can happen I'm sick, which is really rare though. It is really rare I'm sick. But when I'm sick, I recover very quickly.
Right.
Very quickly, right? When I have an injury, I recover very quickly as well. And I do believe this is because of dance, but this is also because of all the things I do around dancing.
Exactly.
And the gym, which I've been doing since I'm 19 years old now. So it's been more than 20 years, 4 times a week
Great.
at least. It's been a long time.
No, weight training definitely helps when it comes to, injury prevention, because that plays in the long run. I mean, you might be even getting bored doing the same exercises in the gym, but you don't know how it will stack up years later when you
Yes.
might have a fall, you might have an injury or some kind of a pull, but you will see yourself recover much faster than the people who probably don't weight train at all, right? So that's great that you've been weight training since the very beginning, and it's amazing to see it really reflects in you in every way, right? So that was amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. And also I think somewhere or the other is also relatable with what is your purpose in life, because it looks like you have found yours, and it looks like you do what you love, right? And that is important. When most of the people are stuck in jobs or in work which they don't resonate with, which they don't even know what their purpose is, then finding the time for your health, for yourself, becomes difficult, because you just don't know where to begin. You don't know who you are or what you identify with, or are you really working towards what you love? Someone who really works towards what they love and their passion, then it just comes intrinsically to take care of ourselves. It's natural because we are so aligned with our purpose, right? So it
That's
really
true.
does reflect with you. So I'm sure that you can also notice in your own life. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did you also performed before, right?
I did perform a lot.
And so recently you've not been performing as much because you've been teaching.
Absolutely, yes. I had my last show, it was in Singapore, right? I was on tour, right, in Singapore. I've actually been to India once, actually. I've been to India once. I've been to Pune, I believe. Yes, I've been there on tour as well for a week. I've been touring the world for the past 20 years, and my last show was in October 2022. That
Right.
was my last show. I've stopped dancing, not because anyone asked me, right? Because I could still dance, right? Because I still look the part. Fingers crossed. But I just felt in my heart that the time was just had come for me to switch into twin. I've been always a teacher. I was right when I used to teach already, right? My little brothers and sisters, right? When I was 9 years old already, right? I was already teaching dance, and I knew that dance was actually dance, but I will say more teaching dance was always the purpose. It was always my goal. It was always my end goal, may I say. I've started dancing because I love dance indeed, and I started dancing because also someone saw me dancing as well. All of this actually, right, brought me into dance, but teaching was really the thing to me. And I did stop dancing professionally. I'm not saying that I will never dance again, right? I'm not saying that, right? Because we never know.
Never say that.
At the moment, I'm still dancing anyway because I teach, right? And I still train daily. So I still feel like I am still a dancer. I am still a dancer.
Right.
I am still dancing, right? I don't need to be on stage to be a dancer. I'm still a dancer because I just kept the same lifestyle as well, right? I do have the same lifestyle, right? I didn't shift from this. I just felt like I was starting getting bored of going to auditions, right? Going to rehearsal, all of this, right? Because when you've been doing this for more than 20 years, yes, this is just a lot. And then one day, right, when I was in Singapore, right, it was beautiful, right? An amazing country to be in. I was so happy to be there, but somehow I was also feeling a little bit sad, right? Because I have a family now, as right? I have a wife, right? I have 2 kids, and it was a bit difficult for me to now live away from them, right? Leave them behind me, and I felt like I needed to shift now from dancing professionally, right? From this touring life, right? From going over, right, all around the world, because I felt like I needed to make some room in my life now. I wanted to be a daddy, really, but full time. So that's the reason why I've actually switched, right? From actually, yes, from this stage life, might I say. But by being a parent as well, this also keeps me healthy because I need to be ready for my kids. I need to get up in the morning. I need to be healthy. I need to be full of energy for them. And so somehow I made more room for my kids. But by doing this also keeps me healthy as well, because kids ask a lot from you. So you need to be ready for that.
Right.
So that's the reason why I've also stopped dancing as I used to. Maybe I will again. I don't know. For now, I feel like teaching Houghton and Graham technique, which I deeply love. And I do believe it is also the secret also behind my youthful look as well, because Graham and Houghton are such intense technique. They really work your whole body, as you know perfectly, right? Because you train in Houghton technique as well, right? You know that. It has so many benefits. So I don't really feel like I need to go on stage now to get that. I can get that from Houghton, from Graham, from my kids, from my family.
That's amazing, because that was my question surrounding this exactly. For a lot of professional dancers, especially maybe from their childhood, they dreamed about being on the stage. That was their end goal, right? Maybe they never wanted to think about teaching as much, but the goal was to be, on stage, to have that stage life. And you get those endorphins out of performing. There's that rush. You have this, amazing career for 10, 20 years. And when you probably decide to retire from it, because at some point there will be younger people replacing you, there will be younger dancers taking your place, and some point that transition comes in, right? And many people lose their purpose of going through the routine the same way. Just like athletes, if they stop playing the game, you will see many of them at least probably lost their purpose along the way when this transition happens, even when they're young, but that work goes away, right? So you can see them that there is some sort of issues going on with their mental health, the physical health. They're really not able to do the same things as they did before, because there's no purpose behind it, that I want to reach this goal next, because that goal is ended in some or the other way. So what is your advice to dancers who may be recently getting retired from the stage life? They must have many other opportunities, like teaching is one of the best ones out there, right? What is your advice to them to sort of find their purpose again and navigate their way to this new transition? And how did you adjust to this transition in your life?
Really love everything you just said now, Sakshi. This is so true. Thank you so much for that. I just feel like you don't need to switch in your mind, because even though I've decided to actually to stop dancing, and I actually really love what you said about this young generation just coming behind you and everything. This was also one of the reasons why I decided to stop also dancing as much. It's because as I could still do it, I actually had an agent back in the days, and so actually my agent was still actually offering me works for 30s, 28 years old, 30s years old. And I started feeling that I was also staying in a position where some people could also benefit from it. And I was feeling like it was now my time to also give back as well. So even though no one asked me to leave my roles, may I say, I just did it myself, because I felt like I was taking a spot, and so because I was very bright, I was dancing, honestly, you know what, I was really giving everything every time. So doing all of this when you know that some people are also expecting to actually maybe take your place one day, maybe be there, do things. I used to work in a company that day, and so I remember when I left, I actually told my director that day that I felt like if I was going, I am sure she could find another dancer to replace me. And I was telling her that because she was quite disappointed because I was leaving, and she was telling me, I feel like if you leave, I won't find anyone like you. I said maybe, but at the same time, I feel like if I leave, there's a spot there will be something, there will be a spot in the universe for someone else to come in, right? I was feeling like I should have left this company because I stayed in this company 12 years, right? I was doing actually a lot of things, to be honest. I was doing lots of things, right? Because I always loved actually freelancing as well, right? So I was doing lots of things, but I stayed in this particular company for 12 years and I felt like I should have left maybe earlier because I remember that they were looking for a strong boy, right? Back in the day, they couldn't find this boy, and I am sure it was because I was there. I am sure right? I could really feel that I needed to make room in the universe for these boys to arrive. And when I left this company, right, in particular, I've seen after 6 months later, I've seen more boys coming to this company. They found 3 boys now. They found 3 boys. And you see, just because I left, I knew in my heart that I needed to make room in the universe for them to arrive. I'm not saying this because I was so great. No, this was, no, right? Well, not at all. It is just because when you make room in the universe for new things to happen, things happen.
Absolutely.
So my advice will be for those shifting to teaching now. Firstly, I've never changed my lifestyle. I still live the lifestyle I had when I was dancing professionally. I still get up early, I still train, I still dance daily, I still eat the same, I still do the same things. So this is my first advice. Don't change. Don't lose your purpose. The only reason why you lose your purpose is because you decide to lose it. You decide that this is finished. No, there's always something I say to my students, and I know that you heard that as well, Sakshi. Always say that as long as you dance, it might be on stage, it might be teaching, you should still have the dance way. You still keep this lifestyle. You should still treat yourself as a dancer, because those dance teachers that go and teach dance on their chairs and they don't move anymore, they stop dancing because they feel like they can't. It is a very different thing, right? It is very different to stop dancing because you can't dance,
Jay,
right? And stop dancing because you just decide to dance, to just shift, right, to teaching. So then I will say that even if you teach, you are still dancing. You are still a dancer because you teach dance. You don't teach anything on the desk, right? You teach dance, right? You dance actively when you teach. So as long as you dance, don't change anything. And there's also one thing I want to say as well. I've never used certain words to actually speak about myself. For example, I've never used the O word, O-L-D. I've never used this word, Sakshi, to speak about me. Never. I've never said I am getting. I've never used those words. I swear it's true. Never. Since I've been dancing since I'm 19 years old, I've never described myself as getting, as being, never. And as because I don't say those words, I don't put this in the universe.
Exactly, right.
Right? I don't put this in the universe, right? I am a very spiritual person, actually, and I do believe that everything you say about yourself, positive, negative, you attract it. It manifests. Absolutely. Thank you, Sakshi. It manifests completely. So I've never used certain words to actually speak about me. Every single morning when I get up, I always say the same thing. I am healthy, I am young, and I am an eternal source of power and energy. I've been saying this since I am 19. Therefore, what's happening? I stay young, I stay healthy, and I am an eternal source of power and energy. This is who I am, and that's the way I will be forever. I can tell you, I'm gonna stay the same forever because it is just the way I live, and this is the way I see myself. I speak about myself, and that's the energy I send. Then the universe will always send this back to me. So that's my second tip. Never allow yourself. I would say don't appreciate yourself. Don't speak negatively about yourself. Always treat yourself the best way. Speak about yourself positively. Always. Then thirdly, you said before that dancers actually age gracefully. I don't. This is the same thing to me. I don't really think about aging. I just don't think about that. I'm just living my life. I'm just going to the gym, sleeping, drinking, dancing. I don't think about all those things. I will not be the one saying, oh, I can't do this because I am this. Because no, if I can't do something one day, it's just because I can't do it because I haven't trained enough to do this move. I will never say I can't do this move because I am. Never. I've never said that. I've never said, and I swear it's true. Never. And I will never say it because it is just the way I am.
I mean, if you don't believe it, it's not gonna happen for you, right? I mean,
absolutely.
When you're doing everything right, when you know that, you've been doing everything right since all these years, you've not changed anything because you think and because of the societal norms that you've reached a certain age, you might slow down or do something else. You've not done that. You're doing all things right. you don't have that fear. I feel like the people also who have
Yeah.
the fear somewhere or the other that they are getting old or they are aging in some or the other way, they know they're not doing something right within themselves. They know they have the opportunity to do it, but they're not doing it, is why the fear is setting in, because there is that gap to be filled with the right action and the right things that they do for themselves, right? So that was very well said. Thank you for sharing that. It's a beautiful message, and I hope that we can really truly embody it. And really, if we are saying things out loud, even as a joke, like I'm getting old, and I'm not the same anymore. All of these things, we say it as a joke, but it really does manifest with people as young as in their 30s, and they really don't have any real health issue. Like it's just how they think about themselves and others, how they speak it out loud, right? So be careful of what you speak about yourself. Definitely to yourself firstly, and out loud as well, not even as a joke, because it will definitely manifest.
Yeah, don't bring that. It's not a joke. I heard so many of my students when they were 22 or 25, I could hear them right at the beginning of the day. Oh, my back hurts. I'm getting old. And I was like, you 22? And I was so shocked that they start saying this at 22. Wait next year. Wait next year, you will see what's going to happen.
Also, I feel like somewhere or the other, this whole culture of from ages back, like just take ballet for an example, that this has been taught culturally that you need to start as early as you can, like at the age of 3. And of course, where I'm sure it's true, like places like India, where the training did not really reach that early. Dancers who started training maybe after 16 for the first time for ballet, right? The first ballet class ever. It's not possible to go back in time and train at 3, right? And that's where this thing comes in that, a ballet dancer does not have that longer shelf life. You may be able to dance just for another 10 years. So that is always taught culturally when you think of the old school way of teaching and, the old school way of looking at the art. That sets in very quick. But it's great to see today that so many people are literally starting their first ballet class in their 30s, in their 40s, just because they want to and because they think they are physically capable of doing it. And they are really, because they won't really become stage dancers, they won't really be performing in any other way. But you can do it definitely if you think that you have the kind of training, you have the kind of pace in your life to take it on. And it's really, you don't really get old at 40 anymore, how they say 60 is the new 20. So it's really not going to happen the same way as it used to. And when you were performing on stage, when you had the stage life, you were auditioning, all of these things, this is a question for the younger dancers today, in their 20s or the 30s, who are still maybe they're competitive dancers or something like that. It can take a mental toll on you, because as a dancer, every day you wake up, it's so much visual, right? Like you look at yourself, you look at your form, and you constantly compare yourself, no matter how much you don't want. There's so much, issues with how you perceive your own body, your own self. You're so conscious and nervous. No matter how confident you show yourself to be on stage, you'll perform, be your best version. But maybe every dancer, somewhere or the other, they have that insecurity that, maybe she's better than me, maybe he's better than me. And it takes a mental toll. And I'll tell you, at least in India, because there is still that culture is building of training professionally for styles like ballet and jazz from a younger age. So when you do that, you are in the discipline. But someone who has gotten into commercial dancing per se, who have become really big celebrities on Instagram, and they have these workshops all over India, just choreography workshops, not anything professionally like ballet or something like that. I have seen most of them not taking care of their health at all. Most of them will be smokers. They will be partying every other week. There's not a fixed routine. They will, clearly talk about not sleeping enough. I just did not sleep enough, so let me just take this class today. So I'm sorry if I don't give my best. And it has become a culture because of Instagram, of course. So many things, social media today, it's very different than what it was 10, 15 years before. It's everybody's a celeb. So every teacher's a celeb. They are leading that life, right? But again, this is such a bad image, because me living here and meeting so many professional dancers also, I would see them take a class and go down and smoke, or maybe not eat healthy, like not even go to the gym. And this is becoming so toxic for many people, because younger children also look up to them. They look up to their lifestyle. They also want to have the goals are very superficial on the layer that you see them, being popular and everything. But the whole focus on the art form or, going to the training, it gets lost in all of this, right? So it does take a mental toll, because everybody's comparing themselves to everybody. So have you faced this in your, career, when in your early 20s or something like that, when you were performing? How did you deal with that? Because of course you were doing something you loved, you were performing, you had that rush, but this insecurity always sets. So, and it takes a mental toll on many people, right? So how have you dealt with this over the years?
Okay, so firstly, I've been like actually all the rest, right? Like everyone. I can see, right, a great dancer, right, and I can compare myself to them, right? I've done this as well, but I've done it, right? I've done everything like this in a very particular way. I was taking this as a way to motivate me. When I used to train, I remember, right, I was going into ballet, and I remember this boy, he had those legs getting so high. He was having such great legs. I was always staying right behind him. Always, because I knew that if I was taking class next to him, when he will get his leg there, there's no way I will not push myself to get my leg higher. So do that every single day. Do this. Have this mindset every single day. Stay around people that are better than you. This is something I've done when I've seen someone better than me, because you will always see a dancer better than you. Always. They will look better. They will be thinner. They will be stronger. They will get the legs higher. They will turn more. Don't stay away from them. Stay close to them. Use them. Use their energy. Use them to inspire you. Even go to them, speak to them, ask them for advice, ask them to help you. Okay, right, yes, how do you do this move? Please, could you help me? Yes, right, I can't do this one. Don't stay in your own bubble, fuming and being angry. No, get there, watch them. Always be next to the best dancer in the room, because if you stay around the best dancer in the room, one day you will become the best dancer in the room, and then you will see some dancers around you. I will always say something. Right, when you go write an audition, for example, right, when you audition, the first 5 minutes, look for the best dancer in the room. Because when we audition, we need to actually, right, because we need to just learn quickly, right? But we need to learn quickly. So find the best dancer in the room, those who can't really remember quickly, and stay next to them. Stay next to them so they can be your next support. But then one day, you will not find any dancers like this in the room. One day, you will not find anyone to actually rely on. That's because you shifted and you are the one. You might be the best dancer in the room that day, and people will follow you. I've lived those experiences as well. I've been following, then one day I've realized that people were following me. There's a day, and the only way to do that, all of those comparisons, healthy, positively. Don't stay on your mood, right? Don't stay there and feeling, no, there's no time to feel bad. There's no time to waste when you dance. If you see someone great, be their friend. Sometimes great people can be mean as well. So I'm not saying you can be friend with them, but use them to be better, be inspired, right? I've actually stayed right at the ballet bar right with this boy every single day for a year. He was the legs there. At the end of the year, my legs were going as high as him, because I've seen him and I was like, I know he can help me. I can be inspired by him. So that's the first thing. Then also now when we speak about physique as well, I've been to auditions sometimes where I've noted that the boys were fitter than me. They had a very thin waist. They were muscular, and I could see that was maybe 10 years ago, and I could see that I wasn't as competitive. I remember that day in particular, right? It was an audition in Paris. I was there in this audition, and I've seen those boys. They were just so fit, and I wasn't as fit. The only way, I didn't go home and I was crying on myself. I was like, okay, I need to do something now. I need to start having a plan. I need to change things. I need to do better. I was already having a good lifestyle, but I could improve on a few things. This is where I decided to stop eating sugar, for example. All this processed food, I'm staying away from processed food as well. This is also my secret, and also why I look good as well today, because I'm not eating certain food. I'm not drinking soft drinks and all those things. I'm staying away from all of this. By doing that, I've changed my body that day. I've changed my body. I've changed my mindset. It changed my whole life, honestly. Processed food is a nightmare. Sugar is your real enemy. Stay away from sugar, and you should be fit. You should have a clear mind. Then you will be able to see all those great dancers, all those great athletes positively, and they will be able to help you and to support you. Don't compare yourself negatively. See them, watch them, observe, and use those dancers to help you get there and stay ahead and stay competitive. Always stay competitive though. Never think that, okay, because they will always see the dancer, right? Look, there's two dancers in the room. There's one who is really fit and great. The other one is really great, but not as fit. They might take the fittest dancers because they need a strong dancer for this particular role, right? We never know.
Right.
But fit is a very large word. Someone can be fit in a certain way. Someone can be fit for another role. we never know. We can really know what the choreographer what is actually really right looking for. But do the best to feel the best you can for yourself. That's all.
That's definitely an interesting way to break out of an insecure bubble, which I'm sure a lot of dancers face today because of the increasing competition and the exposure to social media. It's crazy how it plays with your mind. But definitely, if you feel your best version and when you enter the class with that energy, nothing can break you. And it can always just, motivate you to do better, right? So that was well said. Thank you for saying that. And lastly, I want to know that as an educator today and, as the director of Intensive University, the amazing work that you're doing, because for the dancers out there have been looking for professional training. I myself was searching for that 5 months ago and even before that. But this is a great, online program that you guys offer because there are not so many of them and not very genuine as well. And, getting such good professional training, online dance training today is difficult because you just either have to relocate or either it's just impossible to do in the place where you are right now. But it's great that you're offering this, and there'll be links in the description below with the website and to Patrice's socials as well. You can reach out to him, reach out to them and learn a lot more for the ones who want this training. But as an educator today, what is the impact that you wish to leave on the coming generation of the student that you'll be teaching? What is something that maybe you want to change in the way how you learn certain things, and how do you want them to feel after they leave your class, after they leave your course and your training?
Okay, so I've actually founded MIU. Firstly, it was based on my love for Graham and Horton because I love Martha Graham, I love Lester Horton. Please go online and find them out, right? I just love Horton and Graham so much that I just felt in the past 15 years, I realized that those dancers weren't really known still. Many people out there never heard of Graham, never heard of Horton.
Very few, yeah.
Right, it's true, very few. And I was feeling like this world is so filled with, look, there's so many people around the world, there's so many people to serve, so many dancers to help. And my legacy right with MIU will be to actually leave a space where we can learn Horton and Graham online from wherever you are in a certain way that I do believe in the teaching from the past because those teachings also built me. And I've also introduced now, you see the new teachers at MIU to a new way to also teach Horton and Graham. Those dancers can be fun as well. You can learn and you can have fun, but you can still teach at a certain standard as well, which is professional. And I would like to pass on the love I've learned from my masters as well, how they instilled this love for Graham and Horton in me. This is something I would like to leave. I would like also to leave the way we now approach those dancers as well, that there's always a reason why we do Graham, why we do Horton. There's always a purpose behind one movement, why we do a certain certification, why we do a certain fortification, why do we do a certain Graham move. I would like people to learn from MIU why we do certain things the way we do them. I just would like Graham and Horton to become as common as possible, but at the same time, keeping this uniqueness, keeping this beauty, but for everyone, right? I do believe that everyone can learn Horton and Graham. You don't need to be actually dance Graham to teach Graham and to learn Graham. You can learn Graham and Horton to dance many styles of dance, because Horton, Graham or ballet will always benefit any type of dance you do today, right? You could do hip hop dancing, right? You could be right contemporary. You could do many styles today, right? Latin, right? Ballroom. If you know Horton and Graham, you can just become a better dancer, right? It is like ballet to me. Those dancers are really precious today because they will build the dancer from the beginning. They will build something. They will showcase. They will make sure that the dancer look very nice and sharp on stage, that they can also be quite versatile as well. Graham and Horton have so much benefits that I can't explain just in 5 minutes. There's so many things to say, and my legacy will be, I am now part of this Graham and Horton family. I am part of this for long years, and I just would like to leave something, to leave a message that Horton and Graham are more relevant than ever. These are very old techniques, but they are still very relevant today. So that's my message. It is really for everyone. Everyone can learn Horton and Graham, and then everyone can really benefit from it. That's what I believe.
Absolutely, that is true. I mean, it is definitely a lot. The more people that will see it in this video as well, they will see how it is more accessible and relatable to people who are maybe not even dancers. They're very active in their life. They
Yes.
really love trying out new ways of moving their bodies. I mean, learning hot and ramp is amazing because I myself am also a dance movement therapy facilitator, and during our course, we learned some aspects of the Mata Gram technique of contraction and release, because it can be so cathartic. It can be a great way of moving yourself and getting into that flow, right? That flow state that we want to achieve. So it's way more than just being a professional dancer. It's definitely for everyone, and I feel like people will be a lot more comfortable learning Horton's technique or Graham's technique, even more than ballet or anything, because that seems like so tough and it seems like you need to give your everything in. But this is really so accessible and something everybody would enjoy. The music, the way, the feel on the shapes, everything, right? So I hope that this grows more and everyone wishes to get an opportunity to learn it. And it's great that MIU also offers so many workshops that dancers can join in through any part of the world, these master classes as well. So I really hope that this awareness does spread and you all get an opportunity to do that. Thank you so much once again, Patrice, for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And as we end the episode today, are there any last messages or thoughts to leave us?
I wanted to give something to actually all of those which will see this podcast today. We will leave a little link. They will have a nice discount to actually join MIU anytime they want. I just hope to have more actually students from India as well. So this link will be just for you guys. It will be for you to just come and try something new, right? And dance and just keep yourself healthy and happy with dance. I do believe that those who join my technique, who join the way I teach Horton and Graham, it is not just about Horton and Graham, it is also learning a new lifestyle. It is a way to live. It is a way to use dance to keep yourself happy. So yes, I hope this with this link you will be able to just get something special out of this.
Absolutely. There'll be links in the description below. People can reach out to you and to MIU and they'll learn a lot more, definitely, and follow your journey more closely as well. Thank you once again, Patrice, for being here today. It was an amazing episode. This was one of my favorite of all the 100 episodes we did, because it was about dance and so close to my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for being here today.
Thank you so much, actually, for all your questions. I just love this. I just love that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Bye.